Take as much time as you want, Sarge. We made it home, sweet home. The Wildcat Sanctuary. Sarge and Glenn have made it. Caretaker Teresa is giving him a couple pieces of food. He's hanging out inside his crate. We just opened the door. We started the live post with the reveal. Welcome everyone. Hey Pam, thanks for watching. Peggy. We made it. That's Mr. Sarge. Looks like he wants to spend a little bit more time in his transport crate, and that's totally okay. Who can blame him for being a little uncertain about his surroundings? We just had a big move here, 30-hour drive all the way from California here to Minnesota. Welcome home, Sarge. That's right, Caitlin. You couldn't have said it any better. Sarge is going to be calling this outdoor space in quarantine his temporary home. We have a den box set up for him in this outdoor space, and then Glenn is actually going to be right on that shared wall that you see in the back of the frame, and he's going to have access to the indoor room and then that shift yard. So both of these guys, according to the rehabber, had spent time along a shared wall, and the rehabber stipulated that it would be good if their crates were right next to each other and the sheet was up so they could see one another during transport. And so we're kind of maintaining that same idea, and we're giving these guys a shared wall to see if they're going to continue to enjoy each other's company. And so Teresa, obviously, we're going to be going at Sarge's pace here, and if he doesn't want to come out of the crate, I imagine you and the caretakers are going to be sitting here kind of monitoring Sarge to see, how he's adjusting and getting used to things.
Yeah. I mean, this is a new home for him, and it can be kind of scary. He's taken away or out of kind of everything that he's known, even though it might not be the best situation that he came from. That's all he's ever known. So this can be kind of a scary moment, even though it's so much bigger and there's grass everywhere and there's good food. It's still really scary.
Yeah, who can blame him? Who can blame him?
Luckily, he came from a rehabber that I didn't go in the rescue, but it sounds like it was an awesome place.
Exactly. Yeah, she's doing great work, and has already done so much for Sarge and Glenn. And that's kind of a good segue. I was talking to you and Alyssa earlier. So are Sarge and Glenn, are they going to be in a formal quarantine period? I know a lot of people are familiar with quarantine and how us quarantining our new residents, but is that going to be the same with Sarge and Glenn?
And that's just because they've been with a rehabber. A rehabber is going to do vet care. And so we kind of have an idea as to what has been going on with them. And so formal quarantine is going to be something that we do if we don't know if the cat has worms, if we don't know if any type of vet care has been done. And we want to make sure that stuff is not transmitted to, say, the cats that we already have here on the property. Mm-hmm. So these guys, since they do have vet care, we're going to give them more of what we consider a quarantine adjustment period.
Good way of putting it.
So their surroundings and the people that they have here, and how we do things with the tongs, and then also so they can get to see each other and learn their territories and things like that.
Learn their new way of life, Mr. Sarge. Well, hey, what we have Sarge out here. He's going to be in this outdoor habitat temporarily, as he, like Alyssa was just saying, adjusts to his new surroundings here at TWS. Should we head inside and introduce Glenn to his new space? All right, I will follow the team. Welcome everyone. If you're just tuning in, AJ and I have just finished our cross-country journey all the way from California here to Sandstone, Minnesota, with Glenn and Sarge, two bobcats that were captive-born bobcats that were rescued by a California rehabber. They had obviously been discarded once discarded at separate times. Sarge and Glenn were not found together, but both had the same story where someone realized that owning a wildcat like a bobcat was a bad idea. And so unfortunately, each was just discarded, but fortunately picked up by this rehabber, and now even more fortunately are able to call TWS their forever home. So that's kind of the long and short of it all. Teresa, I'll follow you in there. Walking through our pole barn here. I hope service is going to be sticking with us. Hey, Mr. Denali. I have the door closed. Denali and O'Nally, two of our senior servals who are calling quarantine their home. You can see Teresa's got the zip tie cut. We had zip ties on Sarge and Glenn's crate along with the very kennel being locked. And I'll kind of show you Glenn's setup. Very familiar setting for a lot of cats getting used to TWS. All types of enrichment, places for them to kind of duck and cover and get comfortable and secure. Lots of pine trees, soft bedding filling up that dog glue in the back. And then, of course, Glenn can go right out that shift door, and he's pretty much got a whole nother space just like this, but outside. And so right now, these are just temporary spaces for Glenn and Sarge, since this is obviously, their very first day, their first minutes here at TWS. And Alyssa did a good job of talking about the adjustment period that these two are going to be going through. Maybe not the formal quarantine period that many of you are used to with our new residents, but certainly a good start for these boys. This is Glenn the bobcat here. I'm gonna keep my voice down, and we'll get a shot of Glenn here, and then I might actually step back so I'm not in his vision, and he might be a little more interested in coming out of his crate. There's AJ dropping in a couple pieces of food. I'm going to make life a little easier for Glenn and get out of his field of vision here. I'll even come right over here, Alyssa. And again, Sarge and Glenn, I mean, who can blame them? They just had a big change in scenery. They were hanging out patiently. We didn't hear a word from these two for hours. Of course, AJ was getting visual on them when we would stop for gas. We were topping off their water. And then, of course, Elise, our clinic coordinator, she's a call away if we were to notice anything. And then also we have coordinated vets to participate if there was any type of emergency during our route. But obviously, Glenn and Sarge, we had nothing of those sorts. And it's nothing but blue skies and green grass from here on out, you two. Looks like Teresa's just filling up their bowl. And kind of what we were talking about outside with Sarge, now it's pretty much just time to go on Glenn and Sarge's schedule. They're going to be adjusting to this new space here at TWS. Teresa and the caretakers have done a great job of totally decking out their indoor room with enrichment, new smells, scents, boxes, things for them to kind of displace, the jitters, the anxiety that they might be feeling. And then obviously, as we all know, a cat's best friend, a big old fresh bowl of food that's going to certainly help welcome Glenn and Sarge too. Sarge is apparently the more motivated out of Glenn and Sarge, according to the rehabber. Teresa, if you look out the shift door, do you see Sarge outside by chance?
Not yet.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Maybe we might go peek and say hi to Sarge one more time, and then I think what is best for these two is just giving them their own space, a little more quiet, not just talking in the background. So let's go. We're gonna go check in on Sarge one more time, and then I think this is going to be the final post to the California Rescue Chronicles, Mr. Denali and O'Malley. Just gonna walk through our pole barn here. A lot of snow blowers to lawn mowers to any type of equipment we store here. Hay or bedding. Looks like we're stocking up on hay for the winter months. Hey, speaking of winter months, it's October in Minnesota here at the sanctuary, and it feels like August. It is beautiful out. If you're just tuning in, happy to have you, everyone. You're here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. AJ and I are no longer... I see Sarge is stepping out. I'm just going to hang back here, everyone, and lower my voice. And I can see Athena. Yep, so I'm actually going to have to hang back because Sarge was about to go outside, but then he heard me coming. So it seems like, oh, I just saw Glenn. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Glenn came outside. Sarge is standing right on the edge of his transport crate. He was about to go outside, but then he kind of heard me and buckled down again. So yeah, I don't blame him, and I hope everybody understands that especially now we got to respect Glenn and Sarge's space as they really kind of acclimate and adjust to things. Maybe Glenn will shoot out one more time. I saw him come outside for a moment, and then he went right back inside.
He says, no, you didn't see it.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing, I see Athena, who is down the way in a habitat perpendicular to Sarge. She definitely sees this strapping new bobcat across the way.
He might be dreamy. You know?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think he's pretty handsome, especially with those long cheeks. So there's Bobcat Athena, who's pretty excited about her new neighbor. I came outside, you two, and Sarge was about to step out of his crate. Yeah, exactly. And then I kind of fudged things up. So I'm gonna hang back here. I'm gonna give AJ. You can maybe participate in this with me. We are going to give a final thank you to everyone. AJ, we made it. What was the final drive time?
We did just over 2,000 miles in just under 30 hours.
All right. So, hey, we hit it on the button. We said 30 hours of driving. I think AJ and I were in the car for 2.5 hours. So I want to thank everyone, of course, for making this all possible. Flying to California and then a drive all the way back from California to Minnesota, thanks to your support. And then also I want to thank you for all the well wishes along the way, and just keeping Sarge and Glenn in your thoughts, as well as AJ and I.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate the support.
We do. We always do, and it's great to see that support in action happening right here, right now, bringing Sarge and Glenn home to their forever home. So, AJ, thank you again. Pound it. We knocked out that drive. I'm gonna flip the camera one more time over and see if we can go around and maybe catch one more shot of Sarge. And then we're going to call that a live post, everyone, and end to the California Rescue Chronicles. It's been a blast having everyone. Looks like Teresa is giving Athena a few pieces of food here. And so also it looks like what she's doing is she's just going to be temporary, or at least looks like she's maybe trying to have Athena locked inside, just to make sure that she's not going to be intimidating Sarge, who's right, who's looking right at her.
Gotta get used to the name.
But there's Mr. Sarge taking his time, and we're totally going to respect that. So I think we're going to call that a live post for now. You'll certainly be seeing more of these boys. I think they're going to have come a lot more out of their shell than they have now, and who can blame them? This is just their first minutes of a Wild at Heart life. A Wild at Heart life provided by you. So thanks again. There's Mr. Sarge at a distance. The Minnesota sun is setting in the background. I couldn't think of a better setting.
Just walked outside.
Oh, Glenn just walked outside. Okay. I would get closer. I just don't want to upset Sarge. So we'll just let everybody go. I want to thank you all. That's right, Angela. I'm going to go get some much needed sleep. And again, thanks for coming along on the rescue with us, everyone. But for now, we are the Wildcat Sanctuary. I will see everyone on a live post soon. Bye-bye.